There's a woman sitting with a man at a restaurant table. I know this because I am in the same restaurant sitting across from them. The woman says to the man that she's planning on making bread pudding. I am happy to hear this, although there is little chance I will get to sample the bread pudding since I am a stranger to her. There are some people to whom one is a stranger that one can picture at some undisclosed time in the future no longer being a stranger to, sadly, especially giving her plans for bread pudding. She is not one of those. Then the woman starts to describe her unique approach to making bread pudding. I can only see the man from the back. He is wearing a modestly scaled cowboy hat. I think to myself, good job on the restraint, symbolized by the choice of the modestly scaled cowboy hat. Not something I would mention to him, of course. Both restraint and cowboy hats worry me a little. Because I can only see the man from the back, I'm not sure his face is demonstrating a sincere interest in the woman's description of her future plans for making bread pudding. I am sometimes at a restaurant table with someone, and I ask myself, why? I never ask the other person why, and no one has ever asked me. I think the woman is truly excited about the bread pudding she will soon be making, but I also think she is happy to speak of it because it stops her from wondering why she is in a restaurant sitting across from this man in a cowboy hat. Also, if you wonder all the time why all the time, you probably never get around to making bread pudding. Then something unexpected happens. An unexpected event coming out of nowhere can be marvelous or unfortunate or terrifying. But I am always waiting for one and willing to take any chances. The unexpected thing that happens is the man in the modestly scaled cowboy hat says, "I am making bread pudding too." I can see the woman's face very clearly, and she doesn't look happy with the news. Although she was not scowling, it's as if her face is trying to adjust itself and present a somewhat supportive expression, but not quite managing it. She must have known he was going to say something because it was his turn to talk. It's good both people get a turn. But it looks as though the last thing she expected was for him to jump in with his own claim of making bread pudding. I had initially pictured their relationship going back a while, but now I was not so sure. Perhaps this was still early in their relationship, and perhaps they would soon sleep together after sharing bread pudding that both of them made separately in their own separate kitchens with their own very own recipes. Perhaps after sleeping together, they will compare and comment on their different approaches to making bread pudding. I don't think that would be wise, to sample each other's bread pudding at a time like that. What if one of the bread puddings was the real deal and the other was a noble but failed effort? If one of the bread puddings fell into the noble but failed effort category, before they made love, that could lead to a poorly balanced love-making session. However, if they both emerged from their love-making with some happy degree of approval for each other's passion, perhaps they could pave over or look the other way in their view of each other's bread pudding. Their afterglow satisfactions might make anything taste good. Or even if not quite taste good, certainly be more than acceptable. So if they do, or if they were to ask me, they haven't. I'd say love making first, bread pudding second.
Dear Diary, the truth about the false self isn't ironic that there's a truth about the false self. Anyway, the truth about the false self is it pines for the true self. It wants to get busy with it, as they used to say. Do they still say that? Honestly, I love that expression. I think it comes close to what actually happens. I am still not clear on what actually happens. But even without being clear on what happens, getting busy seems like a pretty good take. As opposed to the ancient, therefore close to me expression, necking. Which sounds like something you need to see a chiropractor for after you're done. Making out might be my all-time favorite, and I think it stood the test of time. Plus, it sort of suggests an arts and crafts element, which I don't know, somehow feels apt. Hooking up escapes me, perhaps because it was never offered. Or else it was offered, but no one told me it was hooking up. Also, it sounds weirdly nautical. Like it might involve tethering a small boat to a dock, which now I think more about, sounds kind of romantic. I'm sorry, I'm confused. It's late. I just had a glass of wine and watched some bad television. And what I really wanted to focus on was the hanky-panky going on between the false and the true self. Peter Bullen!